Welcome to the Silver Mature WomanPreneur Podcast, a podcast for and by women over 50, providing faith-building strategies for female entrepreneurs looking to achieve higher levels of productivity, capacity, and growth, where we strive to focus on God's agenda while building our businesses to serve our community with excellence. Welcome to the podcast. Today's topic was inspired actually by, several conversations that I've had over the past few weeks actually. And so I love how Coach Dorothy just said, setting the tone for the rest of the week. And so the goal today actually is to set the tone for the rest of our lives. When you're blessed to be a maturing woman like myself, things like legacy and impact become increasingly important. And so I was originally, as some of you probably know, I prepare for these calls sometimes a couple of weeks early, sometimes a week early. But as I was originally preparing for this topic, God changed it to what we're talking about today, what we're going to be talking about today. And so today's topic is legacy without walls. Legacy without walls. And so oftentimes when we think of legacy, we think in terms of inheritance or financial legacy, things like that. And that's hugely important, right? That's a major, major factor. But good or bad, legacy is more than just passing down monetary inheritance or maybe a good family name. Maybe that's important, to you. But it also includes imparting good character, life skills, ensuring that our children are getting a good education, training, those type of things. Those things are extremely important as well. But what does it mean to leave a legacy? What does that actually mean? Well, think of people that you may have heard of, but you've never met. Like great grandparents and your ancestors, even famous people who have died centuries before you were born. The fact is, we're living the legacies of things and people that have passed on to us. They've been passed on to us by others. Some are things that we live by, things that we've adopted as our core values and principles. They create recordings in our mind. They create our thoughts and how we perceive things and how we approach different things. Legacy will last long after we're gone. And the good news is it's never too late to start working on building a legacy that outlives you. Now, I know there's not going to be enough time on this call, to talk about the whole legacy. I mean, that's like a huge, huge topic. And I'm telling you, it's been really on my mind here lately. And it's something that's become increasingly important to me. And it's somehow just accelerated. I've been having these conversations with other ladies. In fact, I was having a conversation with my client a few days ago. We were talking about legacy and impact. And she was talking about, dying empty, right? And so as I was preparing for this, God just reminded me of these conversations. And so I can't say that we're going to be talking about this as a series because I really don't know. But what I do know is that it's never too late to start talking about legacy, impact, how you're going to impact the lives of others. And starting today, if you haven't thought about it, perhaps this will be a part of the thing that you start working on today. Okay? As believers, our faith is one of the most important legacies that we'll ever leave behind. Because there's such a thing as passing on godly heritage, believing in Jesus Christ as the Son of the living God and the Savior of the world. That's a legacy that lasts. The hope is that this legacy, this godly heritage, the hope is that we will pass this on to those that we are in touch with, those that we interact with, those that we are on this journey in life with, right? And the hope is that somehow they will remember the stones of faith that's been gathered for them, taught to them. And hopefully we are living as examples, right, for them that can, and we are passing on this legacy that continues for eternity and that is set in stone. Joshua 4, 6, and 8. And let me say this, because hopefully this is touching you in a way that I may not even accurately articulate. Okay? So just hear me out. Joshua 4, 6, and 7 says, when your children ask in time to come, saying, what do these stones mean to you? Then you shall answer them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. And these stones shall be for a memorial to the children of Israel forever. Just like the Israelites were instructed to carry stones from the middle of the Jordan and set them up as a memorial of God's faithfulness, we too can gather stones that represent our legacy, right? And so stones like a family mission statement and in practical terms, right? A family mission statement where we are asking ourselves questions like, what do we want to be known for, right? How can we live our lives as a testimony and a demonstration of God's goodness and his faithfulness? What are the things that's most important to us? These are stones that speak often about how God has worked in our lives and how God is speaking to each of us through his word. These are legacies without walls. Legacies without walls is about being a demonstration to others about the goodness of God. That's written on our hearts and the hearts of our loved ones. That goes beyond our bloodlines. It goes beyond cultural lines. It goes beyond ethnicity lines, right? And so I really just wanted to impart this short word to you all today, to us today, about the importance of legacy and understand it from a different perspective, right? And I wanted to actually close, because I found this article, and I want to close with this article that I read. And it's an excerpt from an article entitled Examining Kobe Bryant's Legacy. I thought this was really, really powerful. And so he says, but what he will be remembered most for, is how he thrilled fans all over the world and inspired thousands of young basketball players that will follow his footsteps. He will not be forgotten because he managed to cement his legacy as one of the greatest to ever play the game. Bryant's disciples will then go on to teach other young players what they have learned. And so it will continue. Kobe's true legacy will be felt for years because he was able to transmit his mentality, skills, and work ethic to others. This is a sign, this is a sign of greatness, that one is able to not only achieve it for himself, but also teach others to achieve it as well. He says, lastly, Kobe will forever live in the hearts of fans like me who witnessed his greatness firsthand. And here's what I want to leave with today. He says, they will know that no one will ever be like him, and they were truly privileged to be able to experience him in their lifetime. That's what I mean by legacy without walls. What kind of experience are people having with you? How are people experiencing you in this lifetime? Right? How, when you are having a conversation or you are just in passing on the sidewalks, you're passing someone on the sidewalk, how are they experiencing you? That's what legacy is all about. It goes beyond bloodline. It goes beyond cultural line. It goes beyond financial inheritance. It's about the experience and the impact you are making in this world. Hi, this is Aldreama Harper, and thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope you got value for where you are in your entrepreneurial endeavor. And if you'd like to know more about how I can further serve you, simply go to CoachDreama.com. Again, that's CoachDreama.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Have an amazing day.